What's going on, everybody? It's Adrian from over here at Pipe Dream Hookah. Yeah, this isn't the way I normally record my videos because this isn't a normal Pipe Dream Hookah video. If you're not familiar with the AM Hookah podcast, which you should be linked in the description, we have this channel called AM Hookah that me and my buddy Matt run. We got a few people on our team. It's awesome. We got 3 shows a week, plus some potential bonus content coming, including the video today, which is a clip from a show we do over on the AM Hookah podcast. Well, the AM Hookah channel. It's not actually the podcast. It's a show we do called Technical Difficulties. And I'm going to go over this super niche thing. Today we're going to be taking a look at how you would use an 80 feet bowl with Fakher and a Provost, specifically using 3 titanium flats. Any flats will do. This came from a question I got from one of my subscribers on this channel a while back. So I wanted to get a video up about how to do that. We ended up doing it on the podcast. I figured I'd render it down and put it on this channel in small form because it's an hour-and-a-half video. I'm going to put all the meat of the content. It's about 12 to 13 minutes. And you can watch it here if you want to check out exactly how I go about doing that session. That said, I feel like I should apologize at least a little bit for the quality because it's not up to what I like to think of as, or what the standards of Pipe Dream Hookah are. That was word vomit, but basically it's not quite as high quality as I normally like it to be because it is a live show that I've ripped and I'm putting on here. But definitely let me know in the comments if you guys are into this type of content, and if you have any questions or any what's the best way to put it, requests. That's a good word for it. Any requests on specific things you'd like us to go over in technical difficulties, let me know. We'll do them over there. I'll rip it and pull it and put it on this channel if you don't feel like watching an entire hour-and-a-half long-form content style video and you just want the meat. That said, I'm going to roll the video, and just in case I don't give you guys a cordial goodbye, pretend that this is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, happy smoking, except for there's 13 more minutes. Enjoy the video. We're going to be going over how to pack Fakher into an 80 feet resurrection bowl specifically, but this does work across the line for all 80 feet bowls, and I will go over the difference in the 80 feet bowls in just a moment. Using the Provost on foil, I'm going to show you how to pack it, how high to go with it, how many coals you want in the Provost, and how to do the foiling, hole pattern, everything, and how to heat it. And we're going to sit down and we're going to smoke it. So that said, I have coals going in this room, so if I seem a little bit elevated, it's because I'm slowly suffocating from the gases these coals are letting off. So we're going to flip these coals, then I'm going to change over camera angles, and we're going to get into how this works. That said, I think now's actually a fine time to just put that up there, and I will be right back. I'm back. Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing today. As I said, we have 3 80 feet bowls here. Really quickly, I'm just going to go over in the simplest way I can. And I'm going to take these headphones off so I can move a little more freely. In the simplest way I can, I'm going to break down the difference between the 80 feet bowls and a few of the 80 feet bowls I do own but don't have with me here today. This is going to be a generation, I think this is a 1 or 2 80 feet bowl. The money green, some of you hyper enthusiasts will actually know because there's no stamp on it. That's actually going to be Dirty Money. Then we've got the Gen 3 Dirty Money, which is a popular 80 feet bowl. These are not what we're going to be using today. The coals in this room are fucking me up. We're going to be using one of these, and we're going to find a better way to do coals soon. This is going to be the 80 feet resurrection bowl in money green. We're going to pack some Fakher double apple. Doesn't matter what Fakher you use. We're going to be using a Provost foil. And some of the other things we're going to need are our pack mat, poker, and fork. So let's get right down to brass tacks and start packing a bowl for you guys. Now typically, you don't really need to cut Fakher. When you buy Fakher by the kilo, sometimes you do need to actually cut up Fakher because the kilos are actually pretty poor quality. This is kind of what you can expect from Fakher. I go through a lot of double apple, that's why I have a kilo, and that's why this much of it is gone. So the first thing we're going to do is mix it up. And I'm going to do a very kind of general pack into this bowl, just for measurement purposes. I'm going to be sloppy and messy, and I almost always want more tobacco than I'm going to need. Because we can always put some back, but we don't ever want to take any out. So that's the start of how we're going to do this. Then, clear up some space, we can get rid of our kilo of Fakher. Put that over here. Next up, we're going to dump the Fakher. I find Fakher works best. You fluff it up a little bit. We are going to do what they call a normal pack. But I wouldn't read too much into exactly what that means because it's not super important. we're basically going to fluff it in to the bowl. And then right after we're done fluffing it in, we're going to rearrange the leaves just ever so slightly. So there's a little bit more density, but not totally dense. Now me, I like to use 2 hands when I'm doing this. Let's see if I can do it so it translates in camera. But that way I can fluff it really nicely. And we're just going to go around the bowl. Now typically you can get away with doing this with a fork, but this is a kilo and I've selected a kilo intentionally. Because the kilos of a Fakher I find have much poorer cut quality. And since they're a kilo, a lot of the juice hangs out at the bottom towards the end of the kilo. So I find that it's very helpful to use the worst case scenario in these types of videos. And in these types of videos, I can't really upload these to Pipe Dream Hookah because they're so niche. And it would be such a strange video to upload on its own. But in this podcast format, it's pretty interesting because I can sit here and talk to you guys, which is really quite neat. Now, one thing I haven't thought about is washing my hands because I'm in this room alone. But before we do that, we can go ahead and get this part over with. Now that we have it like this, all we need to do is take our poker and we're going to not attempt to not actually add density to the leaves. We're simply going to rearrange them in a way where they're not sticking too far out of the bowl and they're not really dense, but there isn't a whole lot of visual or visible space between the leaves. This is what works best for me. This is what where my head goes when people say the word normal pack. You'll notice we've gotten a lot of tobacco on our Bracken Cox pack mat. This is not an issue because it's a pack mat. We can wipe it down later. You're welcome, Bracken. Now I'm taking my time because I'm trying to do this on camera so you can see the angle. But this is quite difficult to do because typically we do not pack bowls for the sake of showing it off on camera. Also, if you are watching this and you would like to chat, I do have my monitors up. I can see and respond to comments in real time. Now this is about where I like to have it if I'm going to use a Provost. You could even try to add a little bit more if you like a hotter session, but that's completely unnecessary. Now I'm going to go grab my coals and very quickly I'm going to rinse my hands off so I can do the foil job properly. Okay, here we have 4 titanium flats. We're only going to use 3 of which for the most part of this session. We got 4 because we would like the ability to use more if the session goes longer. And I would rather not wait for an entire coal to heat up. You'll notice I have an absorbent amount of ash in my coal catcher. And that's going to be because ash, burying your shit with ash, you know, it keeps your coals from blacking out quicker. First, let's take a look at chat here. Adrian back in action. Yes, I'm a technical difficulty. Absolutely. Looking good, Adrian. Thanks, producer Bracken. The hookologist, Adrian, how's your day? Tommy, how's your day? I'm doing well. I'm over here doing the first iteration of technical difficulties, which is proving to be an interesting show to try to do at least. And Robert, anyone want to buy a really nice pipe in your dreams, in your pipe dreams? There's 13 of you watching, so feel free to chat because that's what we're here for. Because after this bowl is set up, we're going to smoke it and show you how the clouds work. I'm going to walk you through how to manage the heat with the Provost and all of that stuff. But first, let's finish up this pack. So, I'm noticing that there's a few gaps around the edges. You can kind of see like here and a little bit here where I might want some tobacco. This is very picky, but I like to have very consistent sessions. So I will go in and like selectively add tobacco using my poker. Just as evenly as I can. And then it actually pops up better on the screen where dead spots are. And Fakher likes to burn very evenly. So we definitely don't want to leave too much dead space. This is a step you can absolutely skip. This is just like, you're going to get 2% increased performance. Most people don't care about that. I'm one of the people that does. Here, a paper towel goes a long way, but your fingers will suffice. So now we are at the point where we want to foil our bowl. Now I'll take a minute and say that I don't think that everyone really understands how to get foil completely drum tight. So I'm going to show you kind of how I go about it. I brought 2 pieces of foil for when I'm trying to show you how to foil a bowl, and I fuck up the foiling. Because that's exactly what Adrian Hunter would do on the new AM Hookah Podcast Friday show. But we got our bowl. Take your foil. I would recommend grabbing it like this, even tension. Put it over the bowl, shiny side down, because I am paranoid that actually means something. Cup the bowl with your hand, like this, and then I pull down here, and I kind of evenly work around. Then once we're at that point, we should be able to torque down the foil. We got a little bump we're not going to worry about, because it's actually not going to affect anything. And then squeeze down. And we got a drum tight bowl. He said it. Yeah. Pipe Dream Hookah, baby. I didn't come up with that name out of nowhere. Actually, I didn't come up with the name at all. My buddy did. So here we have our 80 feet bowl, our 80 feet resurrection bowl with a very ugly foil job. But we're not going to fix that because that's not part of a good session. But if you want to, you can roll it up, cut it with some scissors. That's what I do when I'm trying to be sexy with my session. Now, this has always been the hardest part for me when making content, is poking holes on camera. We're going to try to make it translate. For a Provost to get good heat diffusion, a good airflow from the Provost into the bowl, we want to err on the side of more holes than we need. So here we go. Medium holes. You do not need to go in all the way. I do it's kind of a habit due to the fact that I smoke a lot of Tangiers. And my hand is going to cut off the bowl quite a bit because of the camera angle. We're still working on camera angles and how we're going to set the show up. So I do apologize. But this is exactly how I do the holes for the Provost. Now, for Tangiers, I will do holes over the spire. But we are not smoking Tangiers today. It's a little lopsided. So we're actually going to stop right before we get towards the spire, so right about there. We'll leave a little bit of space over the spire. And that's going to be a nice drum tight, if a little baggy, but mostly drum tight. Full pattern. Alright, so next thing's next. We need to set up the Provost. To start your Fakher session with 3 flats and a Provost, this also works the same way for 2 cubes, but flats are what we have prepared today. I'm going to show you by first setting up the Provost, then I'm going to go over here and grab my coal. And my coal is a little bit burned down because we're still learning how to time this, but that should be a-okay. We're going to go 1 coal opposite side of the leaf, and then 2 coals flanking it in the front. Which isn't really how you use the word flanking, but we're gonna, because I can. Just like that. And in case you're wondering, I'll try to lower the bowl so you can see. That's how we're gonna set up our coals. It works the same way for 2 cubes, except for you want to go 1 cube, 1 cube. You don't want them to be like staggered. And this is a lot of heat I can feel in my hand. Who would have thunk? Hot coals are hot. Now that we have it at this position, I have a broken Provost. So this is something I do with tongs, or if I can do it very quickly, I'll do it with my hands. Because Fakher tends to be not heat resistant, but it doesn't tend to burn under just a little bit of extra heat. It can perform, especially flavors like double apple. I wouldn't recommend this with a flavor like vanilla. It's going to start to taste very cakey and bad. But we're going to kind of scoop these coals in a little bit and find one of these teeth on the Provost and set that right on that coal. Now, normally we'd set it on a leaf like this and just have it setting down like that on the leaf, and then as we need more heat, we'll bring it in. But with this bowl, I'm imagining I'm going to start just like that. Because it is a Fakher, it's not super dense, it should be able to handle it pretty well. So at this point, what we have right here is actually a very nice bowl of Fakher, double apple, packed into an 80 feet resurrection bowl. Now the next thing I'd like to do is set it up on a hookah and smoke it for you guys. Now I think I want to put the hookah in frame in some way. Just for the purposes of aesthetic pleasure. I hope that makes some amount of sense. So what we'll do here is we will put this bowl on the hookah first. There we go. Now, because we were smart and we used our pack mat, we can tuck this foil underneath our workstation. We can tuck all these pieces underneath our workstation. You guys ever watched early Pipe Dream Hookah content? This table was a big part of it. We'll take the mat, and because we're so confident, I'm going to lay it on my mattress. That's how confident I am in this mat. We've prepared our bowl. At this point, we're going to take some time to try to figure out if we can't get it to smoke. So this is going to be the first draw. As you guys saw, my bowl's been on for a couple minutes now. So I'm thinking that the first cloud should be relatively okay, but that's yet to be seen. J-Rock, what's going on, baby? How we doing? Bracken, the hookologist, Robert Pope, Guy Scott. He was the one who said it. Ha What's going on, man? Where the hell are you? First draw. Not bad. It might take a second to heat up, although with the amount that our coals have died down just a little bit, it may be worth adding the lid to the Provost all the way. We will see. We're going to give it a couple minutes of pulling on it. Let's check out some of the clouds. I'm thinking that the clouds will probably be firing off by this point. So here's to the clouds. Normally I edit out all the garbage clouds in my videos. We can't do that here because I'm fucking live. So here we go. Clouds are great. I mean, obviously. It's Fakher. You're never going to have any problems in the cloud department. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, happy smoking.